Good morning, America and the world. This is Otero with the Global Trade Chamber, and we have Maria Renee with the 100 Successful Women. We're very thrilled and honored to continue our success story series where we meet personal and close up great leaders from around the world. And the main thing is there's people that are making a positive impact in their communities and other communities. It's not every day we get to speak to international beauty queen from India. It's India now. It's 7 p.m. India. So I'm going to have Maria introduce her.
That's the beauty of technology, the globalization, but especially the internet, that we're able to connect from everywhere to anywhere at any time.
We love it.
Right? So I'm gonna welcome and introduce our future guest, Dr. Akshata Prabhu. I think I pronounced it right.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining the Success Story series, and we're very happy to have you on our show today. I know that for you it's also very important to be part of the international network, the Women in Business. So she's also one of the recipients for 2020, the 100 Successful Women in Business.
She's going to be here from India in September.
September 19th. And we are so happy to have her on our show today. So welcome, Dr. Akshata.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you, Maria. Thank you, Al. I'm so excited to be interviewed by both of you. I know that I was supposed to meet both of you at the 100 Successful Business Women event in Miami in March, and now that has been postponed to September, 19th September. And I'm super excited and looking forward to meeting the two of you in September in the United States. And I'm sure whatever delays have been caused due to the pandemic, everything is going to go back to normal. There's going to be a better tomorrow and a lot of hope, a lot of positivity out there in the world. And I'm looking forward to bigger things, greater things.
Thank you so much. And we're very amazed and impressed with your bio. You are from the beauty pageant industry to the health industry, which is amazing. I know that you are involved with several beauty pageants, that you are actually a queen. You are Miss International World India 2019, 2020. You are also Miss International World Organization. So tell me more about the titles that you currently hold and that you won in the past.
Well, currently I'm the Miss International World India 2019, 2020. And in the past, I have won the title of Mrs. India World. I was the first runner-up in the pageant, Mrs. India World. And to give you a brief as to, I have been in the glamour industry and the fashion industry. I have been a professional model for 5 years in India. And that is before I became a doctor. And yes, so I did about 2,000 print commercials, ramp shows. I did multiple TV ads. I did a movie in India, several plays. So I had my share of the glamour industry for those 5 years where I was doing professional modeling and acting. And it is after that somehow I fell in love with dentistry because I really like children. And I wanted to serve the child population. And I was very academically inclined even when I was in school. So, I was always one of the toppers, the gold medalists, and also I wanted to continue my studies and take it to a higher level. And that's when I decided to become a dentist and went on to do my specialization in pediatrics. That's how I got my degree as a pediatric dentist. And further on, after my 5 years of professional modeling, I dedicated about 10 years of my service to the dental industry, where I was serving the child population. And it is after becoming a mother that I just got a nice nudge where my motherhood actually told me, where have you lost that charm? You were the queen of glamour, and what really happened to you? Because sometimes I feel you tend to forget yourself as a mother, as a wife, as a daughter-in-law. you're fulfilling all your duties, your responsibilities. Sometimes we as women just tend to forget ourselves, and that's what happened to me. And that's when my motherhood journey gave me that nudge, and I said, hell yeah, I did not get a chance to participate in a Miss pageant when I was very much in the modeling industry. Let me take my chances now that I'm a Mrs. So what if I'm a Mrs.? And that's when I jumped into the pageant industry. And that's in a nutshell my small story, my short story, how I got into pageantry, and I hold these titles. And now with my new venture, that is the International Glamour Project, which is India's biggest internationally associated platform for teens, for Miss as well as Mrs. So I would want to say that it is a very common thing to have pageants with these three age categories in the United States and other parts of the world, but it's a first for my country, India. There hasn't been even one pageant platform which aims at giving an opportunity or a platform to showcase all these three age groups. So I'm proud to be doing that.
Congratulations. That's
Thank
fantastic.
you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You are very successful. Just the fact that you multitask as you are involved in several sectors is so important. And this encourage a lot of people, a lot of women in business, because sometimes you think that you are in health, you are a doctor, you don't really need to take care of yourself or your body, of your appearance, or you just leave on the side the fact that you can start a career also in the model industry, on on the video pageants, like you said. It's
Right.
amazing that you're involved in several activities, but also that you are helping the community, which is one of your questions, right? How you are in the community, what is your involvement in the community, and how you are helping all these women that wants to start a career.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
one of the things I wanted to ask you is a little bit about not everybody has the opportunity to live with an Iron Man. Tell us what an Iron Man is.
Oh, Iron Man, my husband. I think he's been into sports and athletics since his childhood days. He's been a national player in different sports. He's been a swimming champion. He's been a tennis champion with table tennis and many other sports. I even can't recollect the number of sports that he's been involved in. But after he was a marathoner, a national marathoner for a really long time, he found this love for triathlons. And yes, the swimming, the cycling, and the
Yes.
running, the trio, when it comes together, that's what makes a person a triathlete. And Ironman is the title one when you actually finish that championship.
That's
So,
awesome.
well, I have to say that ironically, both of us, we tried to follow our passion in the same year. So it was in 2019 that I won my first beauty pageant title, and he
Wow.
also completed his first Ironman. Of course, after that, he went on to complete another three other international
Awesome.
championships. And he's right now, as we speak, he's training for his next Ironman, which will be scheduled in South Africa. It'll be held in the month of November. So on the wife front, it is extremely motivating because even if I want to go away from my fitness regime, I can't, because I have inspiration right here in my house. And
Good, good.
if I want
Excellent.
to cheat on my with my food, etc., but I'm not allowed to, because then I get those glaring eyes. What am I really doing to my fitness, my physique? So I always have him to keep a check on me. And it just helps because he has a goal apart from his career. I have a goal apart from my career, and both of us have that drive to pursue it. So we as a couple, we kind of complement each other, and we're pushing ourselves so that we live very passionate lives, apart from the dry drudging career oriented lives that most people really lead. We realize that you need to have your hobby, your passion very, very connected to your inner soul, because that's what keeps you going.
You're right.
Good.
And your daughter, how old is your daughter?
My daughter is 4.5 years old.
Oh, she's a little one,
Beautiful.
beautiful.
Oh yes,
Little beauty
absolutely.
queen.
Well, I have to share this with you that my daughter had come to the event where I won my first title, and the sight of her mum being crowned on stage and her mum walking the ramp on the grand finale night. Well, after that, she had to come up and tell me, Mama, when is my turn? When am I going to be participating? Where is the kiddie
Wow.
competition? And that's when
Excellent.
I realized what an impact it had on her. And she loves my crowns and my sashes that are kept at home. I'm sure I can share with you that there are anecdotes where she dresses up with the sash and the crown, stands in front of the
That's
mirror,
beautiful.
and some days she wants to see herself wearing that crown and sash. So I'm glad to say that she's found a role model in her mother at this young age, and I'm very proud to say that yes, I do influence her positively.
That's amazing. And how you manage your time between work, the other activities as a CEO of the International Project Glamour, your family, other responsibilities?
Yes, Maria, I think as women, we have been gifted with a multitasking ability. so a lot goes to that. Plus, I have a very great support system in terms of my parents and my parents-in-law. So whenever I'm out shooting or I'm attending a meeting, whenever I cannot give time to my family, it is my parents or my parents-in-law who come to my rescue, or babysitting my daughter, because I said, as I mentioned, my daughter is too young and she needs that tender love and care and that attention. And my husband always makes sure that one of the parents is around, to
Okay.
ensure that she doesn't feel insecure, and we're still getting a chance to pursue what we really like.
One of the things that all the time when we talk with other people, they always have the challenge on how to manage the daily activities. So in your case, being a multitask professional, having all these activities, how you schedule your day? Let's say what you did the first thing in the morning, what time you wake up, what is your daily routine?
Okay, so the first thing there are two things that I really practice on a daily basis. One is I practice a lot of mindfulness. So even if I'm working out, I am very mindful about the amount of time that I'm giving to my workout and how much time I'm giving to my rest. There's a lot of mindful eating that goes on, because as a beauty queen, I have to maintain my image. There's a lot of mindfulness when it comes to even having those meetings and having work conversations with my employees. And most importantly, there's prioritizing that I do on a daily basis. So I have a checklist that today I need to finish task 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So
So
I cannot
checklist, one
retire.
thing.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely, I do not retire unless and until I've finished those tasks on my checklist.
That's good.
That's good. It's planning. I
Yes,
love
absolutely.
the term mindfulness because people are not aware sometimes of the time they take in one task and it
True.
runs into the next task, so they
Absolutely.
never finish. That
Never
is
fit.
an outstanding term. I love that. Mindfulness. I'm going to put that on
Thank
my
you.
desk. Mindfulness.
Thank you. Thank you.
What is the
Yes.
biggest challenge that you went through in your life?
My biggest challenge, I have to say that after I delivered my child, I was undergoing postpartum depression for about 8 months, and that really kind of made me aware that postpartum depression and maternal mental health needs so much awareness, not only in my country, India, but world over. And most people are not aware of this condition being existing, and only a mother or only a pregnant woman who has delivered and gone through that phase can understand what I'm talking, because it requires a hell lot of courage to gather yourself, because you're low on self confidence. You know what pregnancy does to you. At times I had put on 20 kilos after my pregnancy, after my delivery, because I had certain hormonal complications, I had some medical complications, and it botches you down physically, it botches you down mentally, and as an individual, as a person, if you want to rise up, that's the biggest challenge. So that comes to my mind right now when you ask me this question as my biggest challenge, and as an individual how I've risen above those challenges. And today when I can speak to you on such a platform and also be receiving the award from you guys, I just feel that I've done justice to all those challenges that came across my way.
That's wonderful. You're not the only one. I mean, that's a common thing that women go through after birth. Uh,
Yes,
but most people don't recognize it and
yes,
don't know how to deal with it or support the woman.
absolutely,
So a lot of
absolutely.
women actually get away from the woman. They don't bother her instead of supporting her and lifting her up. That's a
Yeah.
True, true,
big challenge for women that had babies.
Yes,
true,
that is
true.
true. And like you mentioned, the psychological aspect, because you get depression and sometimes you don't have the properly support from your family. So that is definitely a challenging time for women that have a baby. Another
Yes.
question regarding the challenges. How you see now the women in business in general in your country, for example? How you see that the country is doing now with women in business?
Well, I have to say that first I'll talk about my country in particular. India is coming up with a lot of women who have the gumption today to call themselves the owners, the directors, the CEOs, which was not the case maybe a decade before. They were always into the managerial roles, not in the leadership roles. So today, with my generation taking the lead and establishing ventures, trying to be successful entrepreneurs, I can see that there's a lot of gumption, as I said, and I can meet a lot of women who have the frequency that can match mine and who actually realize that there's a standard that we women have to set. And like we say, it is a scenario where women need to be empowered, because they thereby empower the society, not only their individual families, but they contribute to the entire society at large. And in fact, what you are doing in the USA is absolutely commendable. By creating this platform, by having this initiative, you are getting women all over the world who have that kind of leadership potential together to network, so that they can grow and then they can make each other grow in their respective countries as well as on the global level. So that's commendable. Absolutely, kudos to you for that.
Well, you're a perfect example of what we're about. If we were to pick somebody that's a perfect example of what the 100 successful women is, I would personally select you as a
Oh, thank
model
you.
for that.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Yes, you have
Thank you so much.
all
I'm
the
honored.
ingredients.
Yeah.
You have the family, you have the career. It's a dentist, a beauty queen, an organization,
And
and
just to
you're
read your
amazing.
bio, all the titles that you're involved, the beauty pageants, you
Yes,
are the CEO, like Al said, in the health industry, you're a doctor. You are also a partner with Angela Posillico, which is
Yes,
also our partner.
absolutely.
Excellent person, Angela. We had an interview with her yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, right? Was it
2 days
yesterday? 2 days
ago.
ago.
Yep.
So
Yes.
she's
Yes, I
fabulous.
watched it. It was fabulous. I
Yes,
watched it. It
yes.
was fabulous.
So
Angela is
in
such a
right now in
human
this
being.
current crisis that everybody's going through, a lot of challenges for all the sector businesses, a lot of business companies are closing because the crisis, and now everybody is doing more internet activities like us. We're doing interviews, online interviews, webinars. So how you see the future for the beauty pageants? How you're gonna do your future events? Are you planning to do events this year? What you have in mind?
Well, so our grand finale event was supposed to be held in the month of May. Last week of May, early week of June is what we had decided. But then in the month of March itself, we had to take the decision that we will not be able to conduct the grand finale. Accordingly, we informed our partners and all the contestants. So, right now, as we speak, we have about 83 pageant contestants in the International Glamour project across the three categories: Miss Teen India, Miss India, as well as Mrs. India. And they're having their online grooming sessions. So we are doing their training sessions, mentoring sessions through Zoom, through Instagram, and all the various tips that they require to self groom themselves. They're getting all the information online, and thanks to the digital world, I would say.
Yes.
And what I see is, of course, there's going to be a better scenario tomorrow. There's going to be there is already hope, there is positivity. So I look at conducting our grand finale event in India about 3 months from now, and that's when the winners will be representing in Miss International World in Angela's pageant in 2021. So that's how they will represent their country. Plus, there are two other international pageants that I'm associated with. So the other winners will also, the runners up will also represent in those two international pageants. All of them will be conducted in 2021, of course. So the Indian pageant, the Indian national finale, I will be conducting towards the end of 2020, and the international pageants will happen in 2021.
Oh, amazing.
Same plan as us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're looking for ways to reinvent. I think the pageant industry has to adapt like businesses, because it is a business. And you're definitely going ahead of the curve because you're already planning what to do and keep them in touch through this
Absolutely.
epidemic. Because if they lose touch, it's hard to get them back. So I think
Totally.
it's a good thing. Young women, how are you impacting young ladies that are in high school, college, for the future as entrepreneurs?
So, as I mentioned, the International Glamour Project is the first of its kind platform that gives an opportunity to even teenagers. So, we've had a lot of Miss pageants in our country, while the Mrs. pageants are trying to match up to the level of Miss pageants. And with the International Glamour Project, I take it upon me and my responsibility to take the Mrs. level exactly at par with the Miss. And
Good.
sadly, there hasn't been a platform for the teenagers. That is why I created the Miss Teen India category as well. So I
Nice.
plan to take the Miss Teen level also to the level of the existing Miss as well as the Misses. And how I want to impact the teenagers and the youth per se is by creating new mindsets or by changing mindsets. Because what I have realized is gender parity, gender equality, all this that we talk about in the beauty pageant answers doesn't only exist in those answers. The inequality is existing in our minds. And when you have a
It's
platform,
true.
when you have a title, when you have a crown, your voice is heard by millions.
That's absolutely true. What we find here is that more and more girls that are in college, that are going to be doctors and other things, are getting involved in pageants. So they're raising the level of the
Confidence.
confidence, and they can also be an example for other teenage girls to say, "Wow, I want to be like her. I want to be a dentist. I want to be a mom, but still be a beauty contestant." So it's a new world for women. I like it.